Okay guys, right here I'm going to show you the wiring that I came with my solar panels. We have alligator clamps, positive, negative in the wire, and then we have the wire that hooks up to the solar panels, positive and negative, lots of wire. And then I have one of the charge controllers as well that comes with it. And all this will be hooked up to the power pack, which I'll pick you guys up and show you in the other room. My battery's dying on the camera, so I got to charge it and to shoot more about this, but just wanted to show you the alligator clips will be going onto the poles. Onto the poles of the power pack there and there, and then those lead to the charge controller, battery side only, and then the solar panel side of the charge controller leads to the solar panel, of course. Now I'm going to hook this up indoors and see if I get any light, sunshine coming in to charge this thing up. This is fully charged right now though, so I'm going to put a drain on this thing and have the solar charge it up. And I do have to do some settings in here to ensure that it's set properly, because these are set at like whatever the factory default is. So I'm going to reset these up with the manual, of course. It's the manual I have down here somewhere, and I will use that to set this up and program it. But since I'm running low on battery and time, I'm going to end it here, guys, and clip it into another video. Alright, thanks a lot. Hey guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House. Gonna work on the solar power pack system. I brought one of my solar panels out, obviously already marked positive and negative with the tape method that I showed earlier on one of my earlier videos. This is a 100 watt polycrystalline panel, and I got my wiring here and charge controller. So first I want to hook up the charge controller to the battery, so we're going to do that. And I am working with very little room, so I'm going to try and do this the best I can. Alright. So, first things first, the alligator connections are for the battery. If you want to set this up as a more permanent fixed solution, you will obviously change from alligator clips to probably terminals. And I am fighting a mess of spaghetti right now. Give me a second. Okay, so there's the positive. I put tape on the end so I know that I don't get the wires messed up. Alright, and here's the negative. So first things first, this charge controller, positive and negative for the solar panel only, these two terminals. Battery, positive and negative, that's the one I want. So I'm going to do negative first, and I have a little screwdriver here. So I have the negative alligator clip end, and I will clean the wiring up a bit, and see that? That is the negative in. So what I'm going to do is try and do this on camera. Tighten that right up in there. Oh wow. That didn't work too well, did it? The problem with some of these cheaper charge controllers is they got really crappy connections. So negative, negative. I gotta hold that in tight and try to get this guy nailed down. Wow. Okay. Apparently it's not up all the way anyway, so I gotta keep squeezing it in. I may have to edit the wires, strip some more material off, but we'll find out. That's better. So that's in there solid now. So negative alligator clip is done. Let's do the positive. Okay. So the positive is right next to it. On the battery side, of course. You don't want to go into the solar. So we'll push that in there, and what I'm doing is kind of pushing upwards on the wire to keep it up in there, hopefully, while I screw it down. If I can, that is. Okay. Whoops. Need leverage to push on that thing so it will stay in there. And I'm cranking these screws down pretty tight because of the wires. Okay, that's in. So the battery connection is done. Now normally, once you hook this up to a battery, this will display right away, but I'm going to hook it up and I shouldn't have anything because I don't have the poles turned on. So we'll do that next. I'm going to organize the wires a bit, if I can. And positive. Okay. So, take these poles off the power pack. Let me turn it this way. So you guys can get a good idea what the heck I'm doing. So negative, positive. Take the caps off. Okay. Alright, so when I connect this, this should not light up. Be nice to have a little strap on there to mount that, but we'll see. I'll just kind of press my knee up against it, I guess, or whatever. So I'll hook up the negative first. And let's see. Okay. And positive. Now this is a temporary for a video, guys, so I would not, I'd be obviously doing this a lot cleaner than what it is. These are some cheap clamps too. Really cheap metal. Okay, so I have both alligator clips connected and we have nothing, which is good. Now, what I'm gonna do, I can hook the solar panel up right now because normally you don't though. You feed the battery power first to this guy, then hook your solar wires up. So actually I'll do it that way. That way you guys know what to do. So on the back of this unit there's a switch. And when I throw the switch, we should have a display here. So I'm going to throw the switch. And there we go. The display is showing up. So it says the battery is at 13.2 volts. It's got a smiley face. And I'm going to click this button to shut the load off. Alright. So now I need to go into the options and set this up. Now Stu basically gave me some directions as to, let me back this up a bit. This tells you how to set it up so the charge controller will stop giving juice to the unit if the battery, or actually it'll stop. Yeah, in this case it won't do much, but the low voltage drop is going to be 11 volts. That's the setting I want to set for this battery. So I got to click this. And then this is just going to run me through some different things. And then once it gets to okay, PV off, I need load off is set at 11 volts. So that's fine. That's already set. So PV okay, so the max this thing is set at, it saved my last setting I used on it, and it will cut out at 3.7 volts. So the solar panel won't allow it to charge more than that, or the charge controller won't allow the solar panel to charge more than that. Normally you want 14 volts, but this is as high as this one goes, believe it or not. So let me just make sure. Okay, I gotta go back. It'll say load PV off. One, two, three, four, five. It's some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah. Okay, no, that didn't work. Load off at 11 volts. I'll have to read the manual again, but basically I'm just setting this thing up so it won't destroy the battery. Let's see what the manual says here. Alright. View and set low voltage disconnect protection. Load off. Long press the button 5 seconds. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that doesn't get me there, so I have to go back to PV off. I gotta hold it for 5 seconds, and then it starts flashing. So I can press up. Okay, there, 14 volts. So I was able to adjust it so the PV will keep the battery. It'll kill itself at 14 volts. And then I have to long press it again, I think. Let me check. Or does it save it? No, it saved it. And then the other one is load off at 11 volts. So it'll shut off power to whatever load you have at 11 volts if the battery drops to that. Okay, so we're set. Perfect. So that charge controller is now programmed. And good to go. So this guy's done. So just to review, guys, the battery right now, 13.2 volts it says. Click that, it tells you the temperature, Celsius. That is the amps that the solar will be bringing in. It's not hooked up yet, of course. This is the load amps, so I have this off. You can hook up a 12 volt load on this side. Amp hours, this will tell me the reading of how many amp hours I get out of the solar panels over time. The load amp hours, so how much my load amp hours is drawing, which is kind of nice. My solar panel off setting, so when the battery hits 14 volts, this will stop charging the solar battery, so it doesn't explode. Let's get back to it. Okay, 14 volts. Load on. That's just it'll dump load. That's kind of like a dump load, but I won't need that. Load off at 11 volts, so it'll shut power off to this load section if the battery reading hits 11 volts. So it won't discharge the battery totally. Alright. Yep. That's my dad interrupting. Load on. You can set a timer of how many hours this is on. So you can have it on 24 hours, which is set on, so it'll be on all the time. Or you can adjust it to if you're running like lighting for something. And I think we've gone through everything now. Yeah. So, there we go. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to hook the solar wires up. So, please enjoy this. I got to do this. It's going to be kind of tricky because I want to show this on camera. Alright, I got a bundle of wires. Here is the positive plug, and I labeled the end wire as well. But we'll do the negative first. So I'll put him over here. The negative I don't label because they're normally black. Okay. Now, I gotta kind of use leverage to push the wire up in there tight. And this is in the negative setting for the charge controller, solar panel side. Okay, that's in there now. Now I'm going to do the positive wire. For the solar. Like, you got to kind of put pressure upwards because of the terminals are pretty cheap on these things. That's tight. Okay, so now I will hook the wires up to the solar panel. So what I need to do is put this charge controller somewhere. I'll put it right on the ground here. I'm guessing is good enough. All right. So oh, sorry about that. So we have the charge controller on the ground. The battery is now sitting at 13.1 volts. The wires are hooked up. Now I gotta hook the wires up to the solar panel. So I'm gonna do negative first, which is this guy. And I'm gonna try and set you up so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Hopefully the camera doesn't move. So they give you a ton of wire. Here is, just checking, this is the negative wire. And the negative, I already know this is negative because I already labeled this and made sure. Okay, so this is the negative male connection. And I'm going to pop it into here. Hopefully. Okay, negative's connected. No change below or anything like that. And now I will do the positive connection. Red to red. So cross your fingers, guys. What is that? It's like paint. Ooh. I didn't hear a click on that, but hopefully that's in there good enough. Ugh. Yeah, I think it's there. Okay, so obviously we're hooked up. Now on the display, the main screen, you see the solar panel and it has a arrow towards the battery. I have the solar panel backwards so it's not getting a lot of sun, and we're indoors. But I'm going to turn it around and we'll see what we get. So I'm going to put you guys back where you were, turn the panel around and show you what reading we start getting. Okay. Carefully. I'm going to set this guy up against the wall, actually. Then I'll go from there. Should be good, I would think. So this is this is as pretty ghetto as you can get. So I have the solar panel laying on an angle up against the wall. The window is way over there, and we're getting 0 because I'm not getting enough sunlight, especially when I shut this room's light off. You can see I'm only getting a little bit in here. So let's see, we're not getting any juice coming in. If I move the solar near the window though, I bet I'll get some. Oops. So I guess I gotta move some plants, guys. What do you think? Oh, and it's shaded back here right now too, because it is morning. But this shows you how to wire it and how to make this thing now on solar. Now obviously I'm indoors, so I'm not getting enough light from the sun to power the battery. So right now, if I would have left this connected to the battery like it is, with the display being on and everything, it would eventually kill the battery because obviously it's powering the charge controller, right? So you want to set this up outdoors so you have some sunshine. So I'm going to do that. Set this thing up outside and then see how much power we can get in here. So I'm not going to film me trying to get this outside, so I will be back.